1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Oh, where is it? Pete's coming up?
I was telling Rico that I said, John, there's a training and it's for road work. It's in Lake, but it's like 15, 16, 17, like 15 minutes just to drive in and sign up and have a banquet. And then on Wednesday, it's all day. And then Thursday, it's till 1.
It's for foreman, right?
Well, like you promise it, because it's only
Good, good, good.
and then they have an ongoing class online.
Oops, sorry.
You good, you good, you good. Yeah, now, if I walk through there and I'm not good, I'm not good. Let's see. Just in time, let's see. 10 o'clock, all right. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
Good morning, everybody.
Good morning, Judge.
Chicara, good morning, sir.
I was gonna turn in his paperwork.
That's all right. Turn it into-
Pórtate bien, ahí anda.
Today is April 3rd, 2023, 10 a.m. Commissioners Court for Jim Wells County, now in session. Agenda item number 3, public testimony. Have one signed in, Mr. Todd Wright. Go ahead, sir.
Morning.
Thank you.
Thank you. Oh, my God, you're gonna make me
I
read
know,
this.
you're killing us.
Uh-oh.
For you. All right, so I'll be speaking on behalf of item number 7 for the MIT mod funds presented through the Council of Governments. These were started last year in 2022. They formed the committee and decided how the allocation was gonna be broken down for the funds that is gonna be passed through the Council of Governments. There was 4 factors that were chosen on how to set the criteria for scoring. Those factors went into population, went into the low to moderate income, the 10-year floodplain of areas that flood, and then previously declared disasters. And that's how the criteria is broken down on how funding was going to be allocated. The one that's really important for us is any city, the guideline that was set, any city that's under 2,000 or any government entity under 2,000 population, automatically their funds were going to be given to the county. Jim Wells County, City of Orange Grove is the only city or governmental entity in our county that is under 2,000 in population. So therefore, our funds that were used, our numbers automatically went enrolled into y'all's allocation. So the total that was allocated for Jim Wells County was going to be $7,307,707,700. As you see there at the very bottom, Orange Grove is going to be the bottom of the chart, $976,572. So our data was used to collect our amounts of that funding. So therefore, the county that's going to be left over for commissioners is going to be $6,331,128. We just want to make sure that the commissioners and judge are aware of this, that funding was set aside for Orange Grove, for the city of Orange Grove, and that because of our population size, our funds went directly into y'all's allocation. I'm here to fight for our funds to make sure that the city does receive our funding. We have plenty of issues that we have to work on in our area. Of course, because what y'all submitted for GLO, we have to follow y'all's guidelines. I believe that's going to be for drainage and water improvements, and that is something that we definitely need in our area. We just completed some of our drainage projects through some of our grant funding, over $700,000, and that's only done, maybe a third of the town. We still have 2/3 of the town that we are seeking funding for to do this, and with these funds, we can accomplish quite a bit. So I just want to make sure that the Commissioners Court is aware of the funding. that we hopefully will receive those funds and be able to complete drainage projects in our area.
We can.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, can you make sure you fill one of these out? Yes. Oh, no, go ahead, you can do it after, that's fine.
Judge Commissioners, Rogelio Mercado from the County Extension Office. I'd like to introduce our District Administrator, Dr. Ruben Saldana, so that he can formally introduce our new health agent in our office.
Awesome.
Good morning, Judge, Commissioners.
Good morning.
I realize this isn't on the agenda, but we wanted to take an opportunity, even though you may not have the ability to make much comment on it. Just a minute out of your time to introduce to you Angelica Torres. Angelica is the new health agent that we have hired to serve Jim Wells County. She's paid entirely out of some legislative funds that we received a couple of sessions ago associated with Healthy South Texas, and she'll be working on health issues along with Elaine, who continues to serve in this area. She started March 3rd. She's got a bachelor's degree from Texas A&M Kingsville in nutrition.
I have one in Bachelor's of Fine Arts, and then another one in Bachelor's of Human Sciences for the minor
Bachelor's of
psychology.
Yes, and so most recently, of course, she's got a long work history, but most recently was the food service director at Ricardo ISD. So she comes with some good work experience and some familiarity with the health area. So we thought she'd make a good addition here, and we just wanted to introduce her to you, and anything that we can do or she can do in support of Jim Wells County. We wanted to make sure that y'all were aware of that.
Welcome aboard.
The other thing, well, I don't know if there's anything you wanted to share real quick. I know there's a limit on time, and I've taken up most of it.
Just thank you so very much for welcoming and planning for accepting to meet me today. I'm looking forward to working with the county, and I'm super excited to get to know everybody here. And then
Thank you.
Welcome.
Welcome aboard.
Welcome aboard.
Thank you, welcome.
Before I head south on 281, the other small thing I wanted to add is that we do have a finalist for the 4-H position that serves here in Jim Wells County. We're getting pretty close to getting back to you all on that, but I just want to give you an update on that. You know, this has been a tough time for us all, but we're looking forward to getting some support back into the 4-H program here in Jim Wells. So we'll get back with you. More on that later, but just to kind of let you know where we're at.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Yes, thank you. So we had 2 public speaking, nobody else? I don't know.
Thank you.
Yes, sir, thank you all.
Thank you.
Okay, there's no more for public testimony, so we'll go down to number 4, 5, and 6. These are all having to do with a generator, but Mr. Paul Pilarski, our engineer, we were trying to get some information between Friday and now, and it wasn't enough time. So we can table them all 3 of them. Do I need to read them all out, Mr. Guerra?
Yes, it will just say items by number, you can refer to them by number.
Okay.
I'm thinking maybe on number 4, are we ready to go forward on that, or we're gonna not reject them at this time?
We're not gonna reject them at this time because there's a possibility that there'll be an alternative bid. We're just trying to hammer that bid down and make sure we're doing it correctly.
And just, if you could just put on the record that items 4, 5, and 6 there'll be no action today, and that, they'll be reposted, did you say,
13th.
the next Tuesday meeting?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, so items 4, 5, and 6, there'll be no cause for action today. We're gonna repost them on the next meeting, which is Tuesday, April 11th.
11th.
Yes.
That's your motion. I'll second.
Okay, I have to make a motion, Mike?
Motion to table.
Yeah, okay,
I'll second.
There's no action.
okay.
So you made the motion or we? just
Sure,
make-
I'll make that motion.
And we just second.
Second.
I second it.
Okay. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Well, no action, right? No vote, just nobody aye, no ayes, no nays, just let it stand. So,
Well, somebody said table and somebody said no action, so.
yeah, I made the motion for no action. Okay, so, he seconded, and, I'm gonna revert back to, no vote and ask for a revote. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
No ayes. Right, okay,
It's an item,
okay.
no action.
Okay,
Take no
okay,
action.
all right, okay, all right.
It's
Okay,
Monday, it's Monday.
all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. I just thought we were gonna let it die and bring it back on the 11th. My fault. Okay, agenda item number 7, Commissioners Court will convene into a workshop with Grant Works to discuss CDBG mid-mod, MIT, and then the Regional Mitigation Program Method of Distribution Development, CDBG mid-mod program projects. Okay, so, number one, we needed an update because we're coming in here, pretty quick to the,
Deadline.
submission date, and we want to make sure that we're on track. So I'll open it up to, I think we have a representative from
That works.
Grant Works. Come on up, yes, ma'am.
Morning.
Morning.
Good morning.
Some of y'all might remember me. I've been here, it's been a while. But for those of y'all that haven't met me, I'm Roxana Sandoval with Grant Works. And I've been writing for Jim Wells for quite some time since I've been with Grant Works. And so I'm taking care of your mid-mod application. I know y'all got an extension. They were due it back in February, but because there was some issues with procurement, GLO allowed a 90-day extension. They'll probably allow us another like maybe 30 days if we need it, just to let y'all know, because I know that there's a lot of money and we have to, one of the main things is we have to qualify a certain percentage of this money towards LMI. I think it's 42%. And with that said, Jim Wells as a county is not LMI. Under this program, the city of Alice is actually LMI. They normally are not. But a lot of the areas that we're used to being, out there, of course, y'all been through this before. We have to do door-to-door surveys, and that takes some time, especially if it's a large area. So that's probably, if anything, if we would need an extension for anything, it would probably be because door-to-door surveys, just depending on what projects y'all pick. But just wanted to throw that out there. Jim Wells has been allocated $7,307,700. So 7.3 million, give or take. Of course, our admin fee comes out of that. We don't charge anything up front, but Grant Works does take an admin fee because we will see your grant through from cradle to grave. Applying for it, sending in all the paperwork. Once it's awarded, there's a whole lot of environmental and paperwork and engineering that goes along with that. And then, of course, the closeout and all the documentation reimbursement. It's a reimbursement program. So we take care of all that. And then, of course, an engineering fee will be in there. And then construction. So if you take our admin fee out, engineering and construction is going to be about $6 million. $6,069,302 actually. And so if you divide that by precinct, if that's how the county is going to do that, each precinct would have about 1.5. And that's engineering and construction. And engineering, Eddie, I think the max is 15% of construction. So I don't think Eddie, we haven't really discussed what we're going to do there, but that's the max. 15%.
I'm sorry, but is this the same one that Orange Grove was talking about?
Yes.
Yes. So that doesn't include them, though?
So the 7.3 million that has been allocated to Jim Wells, some of the smaller communities within Jim Wells that didn't get an allocation is that Orange Grove did not get an allocation, and some of the other communities within Jim Wells that did not get an allocation. It's up to the county if the county would like to grant in a smaller city, a certain amount. There is no set amount. We've talked to the COG. They don't have, there's no, I guess, there's no rule that says the county has to provide the smaller communities with money, or the county can choose to do projects within those communities. It's really up to the county. So the 7.3 is the total allocation for Jim Wells. Okay, and so it would be up to Jim Wells.
And what was the number, Mr. Wright, it was 900?
976, 572.
Okay, 976.
And that was given to you by the COG?
That was, rolled into the county's allocation.
It was rolled into the county.
And it's Orange Grove Elamine.
No,
No,
Okay, so that won't count towards our 40, what did you say,
42.
42%.
Okay, so that's not gonna count if they go that route, but you're saying it's not mandatory, it's discretionary?
that's what we've been told by the
The
COG.
COG.
So you've been talking to the COG too, right, Mr.? What did they tell you?
Same thing, I just wanna urge you that you're using our data, and that's our numbers, so that's something that's not gonna go very well with my.
But what exactly did they say? That way, just so we can know.
Yes, that our money was allocated, our data was used to give you that number, that almost $1 million. That, you know, it's up to y'all to give us that money, and they recommend that you do give us those funds so that we can use it. But it is no mandatory language was set in that guideline.
Yeah, unfortunately for the smaller communities, there was no language put forth by the GLO or the COGS on any of that allocated money. So, you know, we have some counties that are awarding it. You know, I have an occasion in Aransas County. They're sharing the Fulton didn't get an allocation, and they're sharing that amount with Fulton. And it will all be under that county's umbrella. So whoever the county hired as administrator and engineer, that's who Fulton's using. That it's just basically a project for a certain amount under the county's list of projects in their app.
In other words, they could give us one of their projects and we could add it to our projects, because it has to be administered and engineered by you all, because that's
How they're doing it in Aransas County. I'm not sure how they're doing it in other counties. I would have to check with the COG on some other counties and how they're handling their allocation if they are giving it to a smaller community. Of course, it would have to, you know, undergo the procurement process for RFQ and RFP, the way the GLO likes to do that, and then that, of course, that takes time. So, you know, Aransas County decided to, you know, allocate money to, I think theirs was going to be like 2 million for Fulton, and so Fulton's getting 2 million of their allocation, and Fulton chooses the project they want to do, but it's under the county's application. When I put the application together, I set all the projects in there by beneficiary. So it's by, you know, we can have 10 water projects, but I have to put them in there separately. So it would just be another project.
So in Aransas County, was the share allocated to Fulton charged against the precinct, the commissioner of that precinct that covers Fulton? Or was it off the top and charged, or was it charged off against the whole grant?
Against the whole grant. Aransas County kind of did it a little different. They didn't split the money up by precinct.
Okay.
They just kind of went to the county engineer and said, these are our priority projects.
What are we gonna do? Do y'all have a proposal?
Do we?
Or I'm just asking.
No, all I've been told is to have an amount per precinct, if that's how you choose. It's really up to the county,
Okay.
how the county wants to do it. We have no preference. You know, if you want to have a priority list of projects, or if you want to split it up by county commissioner equally, and then we can go from there. It's really, that's what this workshop is for. It's for to just kind of decide where the money is going to go, and how we're going to divide it. And
Y'all already had projects that y'all were thinking about already,
Yeah,
right?
we have projects,
They
I
have
don't know the
project.
cost.
I thought you guys already knew.
So where it becomes, like precinct 3, what are your projects, Reggie?
I've got one on 382 for water and possibly septic.
Okay, so you have some projects already, you got monies for your, you know, you're gonna get monies, right? So you got it, so I think a lot of it has to come up, you know, from that precinct, actually, some of it.
So I've heard about all y'all's projects. I have talked with Eddie, And I know Eddie's been talking with y'all individually, so I do know about y'all's projects, we've kind of been looking at them.
Yeah.
It's really a matter of, how the county wants to divide, if y'all want to equally divide it by 4, the allocation in the 4 precincts.
Yeah.
And then we go from there, or, you know, it's
Yeah,
really up to
yeah.
you.
So if Orange Grove wasn't added in here at all, would we be less 976, 572?
Correct.
Okay, so then it should go to Orange Grove because it's here. So
on-
I don't see why it would come out of precinct 3. If they're on this list here, and if they weren't on this list, then we would be short 976, 572.
The 976, 572 would come from the 7.3, from the overall allocation.
Yeah, but if all their information and they were not on here, it wouldn't be 7.3 million, right? It would be it'd be less 976?
Correct.
Okay, so Orange Grove is here.
Correct.
So Orange Grove should get the 976, and then the commissioners split the other 4.
So what we would do is, if that's what the county chooses to do, then we less the 976 from the 7.3, and then if y'all want to divide it equally, then that number we would divide it equally. And I can do that
But
math real quick.
not for the 7.3, because 1.5, well, you said 1.5 a while ago, that's 6 mil.
That was of the 7.3, that's an equal division of 4 from the 7.3. So that amount would go down.
Yeah, I think there should be a reasonable amount allocated for Orange Grove. I don't know if that's a number, I don't know. But there should be some monies allocated to them.
Right, what this number is the COG
1.5
did
is
use
6 times
numbers.
4 is 6 million.
They did use everyone in the entire county to come up with the allocated amount of 7.3.
Yeah, right.
So because they used numbers from other smaller communities, I don't know if it's Orange Grove the only community that's come forward? Okay.
Well, they're
So,
the only ones that didn't have the 2,000 threshold.
They didn't meet the
Okay.
threshold.
That's the only-
And that are incorporated. We have some other communities, but they're not
yes.
incorporated, so
Correct.
they're the only ones that fall into this category.
Okay. Just wanted to- just
So,
making sure.
you gotta think also, because we gotta get 42% of LMI, right?
Yes.
So if you give the total amount of the 900,000 to Orange Grove, and they're not LMI, so my other commissioners are gonna have to deal with the LMI by themselves, correct?
Correct. We have qualified some areas in Orange Grove before. I know we've done work for y'all where we've had to go door-to-door survey. So if they chose a project and it wasn't a citywide project, it would be a targeted area and we would have to door-to-door survey that area or use census tract data if it fits.
So
It
that-
usually does.
Yeah,
If we go, go ahead.
They have 900-some thousand, but we have 7.3, but you're taking your portion away from the 7.3. They get the 900-some thousand, shouldn't they have a percentage?
It will.
Yes.
It will have an engineering and an admin on top of that.
Prorated.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes,
So it won't
correct.
be their whole amount.
At the worst scenario would be like taking like a little over 200,000 from each precinct. And it'll leave us like 13 instead of $1.3 million instead of $1.5 million. Something like that would probably work for me anyway. Like,
And that's really up
yeah, but that's, we're just talking out loud, right?
Sure.
You know, I'm not against Orange Grove, but you know, we you know, I'm just saying that, you know,
Like from
something that makes sense.
the 976,000, we need to take the 13% or whatever and the,
Yeah, but we.
Well, yeah, because,
Yeah,
I mean, because right now, 1.5 times 4 is 6 million, so you're gonna have to subtract it from the 6
Yeah,
mil
so-
and then divide by 4.
There has to be a number there that we could probably adjust.
I could take out my phone real quick and do
Yeah,
it.
but anyway, we're just talking out loud, and I'm just one person, you know, we just,
well, yeah. But we have to decide because we need
Yeah,
to
right.
do the application because we're running into.
Right.
And we couldn't decide today either, we'd have to bring it back, well, you could decide today, but we have to bring it back to, on the 11th to make a motion, yeah.
Right.
yeah, we need to know the projected cost also, you know.
What project do you have?
Yeah,
that
And
it
that being
includes
said,
LMI?
we,
We're gonna do just as y'all are.
you know what parts of town?
I can't see. No, I can't. 572.
I can see where Orange Grove barely missed the cut, where Fremont didn't. You see, so I'm trying to weigh the, make sense of it,
Right, I'm not sure why they did it that way.
Yeah,
They have their reason to do
yeah,
that.
right.
But nonetheless, I think they did it more for numbers. I mean, GLO used a waiver, what they call a waiver.
Yeah,
Like I said, Alice, the city of Alice is LMI just for this round. So, they took their allocation and did citywide projects because otherwise they would never be able to do citywide projects with grant money because they never qualified with LMI. And it's just such a big city compared to all the other small.
Could you give us the breakdown? Could you give us a breakdown?
The original breakdown?
No, if we add Orange Grove to the mix and how much would the commissioners have for themselves?
Why couldn't we consider the project instead of, because if you don't meet the LMI, you're not gonna qualify.
Well,
No rocks.
there's 58% that's non-LMI, so.
That's
they
what I'm
could
saying, so
qualify.
if you're gonna have some. Excuse me, I gotta take this call, man. That's my dog.
So if we subtract the 9, that leaves the county with 6,331,128.
What was it, 900 and what was the exact number?
976,572. Okay. So then if do you want me to do the percentages of LMI from there, or do you want me to take out our admin? I mean, approximately, Eddie, I don't know Eddie's number, so I would do it with engineering and construction together. Is that how we would do it?
I did it.
Are you doing it just to the 976?
I can.
So we can know how much less?
6 million.
it'd be like 1.3 million is what she's gonna come up with.
I think so. Looks like it. This is, I have my spreadsheet, I could do this real quick.
So it's,
So you wanna know y'all's number without my admin, what was construction and engineering, and then divide those by 4?
yes, that's 1.25 for each, right?
Divided by 4, about 1.5.
No, 1.25?
I got 1.5.
That's just see, I left the engineering.
I left the engineering in.
Oh, you left engineering in, okay, I took engineering
Do
out.
it again.
Mm.
And
Yeah,
the
but-
engineering is 15 max, so I always calculate it with the maximum engineering. And of course, Eddie, it just,
Negotiate that.
okay.
Yeah, because earlier you said 6 mil, so you subtract 976 minus 6 mil divided by 4, that's 1.25.
So with engineering and construction, I get 1,511,715.
1.5?
That's what I did. 1,511,715. That's 6,046,861, subtracting our admin out, which is a 4.49%. I get 1.5. Initially, let me see. The reason why I gave y'all 1.5 earlier is because I was charging the whole 15%, taking out the 15, putting it in. So it's, yeah.
Don't worry, take your time, you good, don't worry.
My phone.
Don't worry, you're fine.
Let me double check that real quick. So if I subtract out the 976, 572, I get 6,331,128.
Okay, that's gonna be a little bit more than 1.25, yeah. Go ahead.
And then I'd have to subtract out our admin,
Okay,
so I'm gonna multiply it by 4.49%. I get 284,267. So 6,331,128, subtract admin. I get 6,046,861.
6,
So that'd be divided by 4,
61, yeah,
Divided by
by 3.
By 4.
by 4.
Divided by 4.
Yeah.
I get 1.511. Is that what you're getting?
Does that include Orange Grove?
If you remove the allocation, that's what Orange Grove already.
Just, they're allocated, okay.
6,046,860. I get 861. but
Oh, okay, yeah, well, and 35 cents.
Divided by 4, that's 1.5.
The admin fee is constant regardless of what.
Yeah, that's 1.5, that is correct.
Now, the engineering may vary depending on the project.
Right, the admin is always taken off of the overall allocation. Engineering can only be charged against construction.
Okay.
So we kind of back those numbers into the construction.
Yeah, so I was going off the 6 million you said earlier, and I subtracted the
Yeah.
976, and that left 1.25, so
Right.
it's between that and 1.5. So
And
y'all
what I
are
can do
basically,
after today is I'll set up my spreadsheet, I'll recalculate, and then I can send it. I'll send it to you, Judge, and then you can send it, because I know if I send it to everybody, do I violate open meetings?
Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
sure, yeah, we can't send it to everybody.
Or I can send it to you and Judge or something, and then y'all can
And then
disperse it.
Isabel can send individually to.
Sure.
okay, well, so that gives the commissioners actually what you said they will start with, 1.5.
And that's engineering and construction and acquisition, if y'all needed to do anything with acquisition, hopefully not. We do have, I say that because the GLO has told us that we have, to set up our timelines in the application for 24 months. That's like not a whole lot of time to get a project done sometimes, especially if you have environmental and then, engineering design, and then you have bidding and then construction, and then hopefully weather permitting, you finish it in 24 months. It's a good timeline, but I think the most they'll go is 36 months on a contract. So I say this because a lot of counties or cities want to do force account, and they can only do so much force account throughout the year, and so it takes them a little bit longer to do projects. So I think Aransas County's having that kind of issue, wanted to do everything in-house, but they know they can't finish all their projects in 24 months. Keep in mind. I know y'all like to do force account on some of y'all's projects.
And so, just something that we need to keep in mind is it's one application.
Yes.
And so we need to make sure that we turn in enough that will come to the 1.5, because if it's not, you lose that money. Well,
Yeah, I mean, I think what Eddie tries to do too is, because we don't know how costs are, you know how they
right.
Fluctuate.
They fluctuate.
skyrocketed. Hopefully they're stabling out, but if not, sometimes we ask the engineer to pad it a little bit, because we apply now and we give numbers now, but we probably won't see a contract for a while. And so that's kind of, something also you have to think about, and Eddie knows that.
And of course, we don't,
Yes, sir.
and of course, we know that it's not, we're not bidding for it, like it's already procured to us that money. So it's not, we're not waiting to get awarded.
Yeah,
No, it's
It's
not,
already our money, so
it's-
that should take a little
it's
bit
not
less.
competitive. It's
Yeah,
award-
it's not
it's
competitive.
So
awarded.
I will say that, I didn't write any for DebtCog, but DebtCog, their deadline was back in November. And we started seeing what we call the RFI process, which is request for information. They always ask us for more information, even though we put everything in the grant. They'll always come back and ask us for questions on type of project engineering or why we said something cost something. So that's been a really short process. During the mitigation round, which was a couple of years ago, it took like 6 months to 9 months to get us an RFI, and maybe a year to a year and a half to get us a contract. That was competitive. So those are kind of, if do it a little bit differently. In this case, they don't want to take your money. If something comes under, I mean, we're gonna apply for the full amount. And if something comes under in your bidding process, then we'll let you probably add something here and there. We just have to work it out with beneficiaries, make sure it's like in the same area, things like that. So, as we've qualified it environmentally, it'll be okay.
For the record, I'm Raul Garcia, the project engineer for this project. Couple of things is, I've had the pleasure of meeting with a couple of the commissioners already, and I know more or less what the projects are. I've got some indication that I think, Commissioner, you wanted to do Mesquite Estates.
Yeah, San Fernando Creek.
Okay, now, here's a couple of things y'all need to know project-wise. It appears that the GLO wants no projects in the floodway. That eliminates something. Because we can do the crossings.
Yeah.
Correct? We can do the crossings that are the bridge crossings there. But I took a look, and all of a sudden, the main body of San Fernando is all floodway. Not
Okay.
floodplain, floodway. I don't see how you can do a project and eliminate floodways. That's what you do, but that's what the GLO has indicated to us. Now, another thing is that we're gonna introduce an application I've been holding, because I need to know what the budgets of each individual precinct were in order to go ahead and work up towards that end. I know that Commissioner Huicho wanted the Green Acres area, and there's gonna be some acquisition there, because that's the only way to take care of that problem. But there's a solution by doing that. But we need to know what's our budgets and our timelines, so we get rolling on that as soon as possible. I know that Commissioner Chapa, you wanted to do the water and sewer, and fortunately, both of those are subdivided. It's Oak Meadows and Meadow Ridge. Both of those are platted, the right-of-ways are in place, so we have that pretty well established. Of course, we have that big, long offsite we'll have to bring, but I think that we can work. But I need to know the budget, because we're gonna have to back ourselves in. And so, I know that 117, 111, 110 is another project that we wanna do with that. So that, today, if we can establish, or at least get a time frame to get the budgets established, when we start doing the actual applications, and I can get you a scope of the project. Now, with Orange Grove, I need to know what they're gonna do, because it's my understanding that I'll have to do those also. So I have not met with them, so I really don't know what it entails. But we need to know that so we can have all the applications there. It's like sub-applications to the main application, so we know what projects they are. But again, without budgets, we really couldn't get started. We have an idea, and we're good to go, but understanding that about the floodway and the restriction of the budget, so that's why we needed this meeting to get started on establishing the scope of each individual project.
Can I ask a question real quick? Do any of y'all, I know, I'm familiar with some of the areas, I know my family's from Bimble, so I know, do y'all
Don't tell them
oh,
that.
sorry. Do y'all have reservations on the areas y'all wanna do? I know we had Keesling Howell, we had that area surveyed. Those surveys are only good for 5 years. They expired in 2022. So we'd have to go, you were right, you're like, we have them, but they just expired. I checked on them. So we'd have to go resurvey. And the census tract is way too big, so we can't do that. But do y'all have any reservations in the areas y'all want? I've looked at your area, Mesquite. I looked at that area too. I couldn't find your area. I was lost in Orange Grove in the area.
'Cause
Is
it's
it
not.
Sandia?
Oh, it's in Alice.
It's here in Alice. It's off
I
382.
was looking up here.
I've got the plats with me, so I can.
Okay, good.
Okay,
So I
great.
hadn't talked with Eddie about yours yet, but, and then I know where Green Acres is, so do y'all have reservations as far as LMI? Do you think that your areas would qualify or not qualify?
I don't think there's a problem with areas.
Okay,
There's no problem, we've done those before.
That's right, we did the survey already in ours.
so is it the survey that we just did, that you did? The one that you helped with? Okay, I have that, that's brand new. Yeah, so it is that area, and that was my next question. So I thought it was the area below that.
It's pretty much most of it.
And so it's gonna be that whole Lakeland ditch area with, okay, perfect. So we already have those and it qualified. So, we would just have to make sure that we hit that 42% LMI. I don't
So,
think we'll have a problem. We just need project might have more LMI than the other, and that's okay. Each project doesn't have to have 42%, just the application as a whole has to have 42%.
Okay, that being said, I guess everybody has their projects, and we're going to Orange Grove. We're going to include them. So
They'll have to give you their project.
yes, and
Since Orange Grove is gonna be targeted, there's a chance they could be LMI, correct?
Yeah.
Because if they're not, if we know that they're not from Wingo, then you gotta figure that 42% is actually going up
going up, yes.
because we have less money to work with.
Hmm.
But if they're gonna do it, you said it's gonna be targeted to the southwest side of the city.
It's targeted.
And this,
Yeah, y'all are barely there. I don't know how you, yeah.
So-
To see what percentage exact number for the decimal.
what percentage of the residents in the targeted area have to be LMI?
51.
51?
I know.
Isn't it- That's kind of the, well,
It is.
all of Orange Grove is nice, but that's kind of the nicer part of town.
I thought it was as a water lines in Rancho Alegre.
Well, it turned out pretty well because you still get 1.5, right? That's what y'all were expecting in the first place.
It's weighted.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's
So
good.
if the commissioners have, one is 90%, that's where you, Orange Grove would have 30%.
But you could take another, you could do another project.
The whole thing.
It's weighted by dollar
Oh my
amount,
God, I
so
hope.
it's really
My
the
next
dollar
question.
amount we have to present as,
Okay.
and it could be pieces of each, or if, let's say Commissioner Garcia doesn't, his area is not LMI, let's say it's just not. But, so his amount of money will go into the non-LMI pot, but we do have to have, and I know Commissioner Gonzalez, I know yours is LMI, so that amount will go, and we'll just kind of work from there. So usually, if we can use census tract data, which is hardly ever correct, it doesn't always depict the true LMI of the neighborhoods, but if we can use it, we will. It depends on the project and the type of project. It's easier to use when we have streets and drainage, or a whole water project for a certain area, or a lift station or something. But we'll work with Orange Grove. I mean, we have some surveys throughout, we have Southwest, but I'm not sure.
Okay.
It might be old surveys though. Surveys are only good for 5 years now, so.
I know when we talked, we had even included maybe a water line or two in Rancho Alegre to increase the LMI. Because they're completely LMI.
But yeah, they're completely LMI. The only thing is we would have to benefit all of Rancho Alegre to use. Rancho Alegre is actually called a CDP, which is a census designated place. So it's not a town, it's a census designated place, and HUD gives us a percentage of LMI for any CDP in Texas. And Rancho Alegre happens to have LMI, CDP wide. Rancho Alegre is made up of a bunch of colonias, actually, a bunch of subdivisions all together. I never knew that until I started doing colonia grants here. And so, there's McMaster, there's La Jolla, there's a bunch of different subdivisions that make up Rancho Alegre. But as a whole, Rancho Alegre does qualify. We would have to do a project that, for instance, the project that was submitted for the DR, the Imelda, the 1819 Imelda, was a manhole project throughout Rancho Alegre that was considered CDP wide, and we were able to use the percentage of Rancho Alegre in that case. So it's a water line. It would only benefit the people who are. It's really a direct benefit. You have a lift station, it benefits a larger area, but if it's just a sewer line that people are connecting to, it's usually in targeted areas. It just really depends on what kind of project.
But it's not a sewer line, it's water.
It's water, yeah, it's still gonna be a direct line, unless it's a trunk, like a big upgrade or something, but.
What about Tecolote, Margie?
Lines out there.
What about Tecolote?
We're doing the colonia. That's those water wells cost $1 million. Yeah. To do the mud.
Also, I'd like to go ahead and make a point of clarification. Engineering contract wise, one contract with the scope of all the projects, right?
Correct.
They're not individual contracts.
One
It's just
contract.
One contract. So once we know the scope, we just write it into the contract.
Okay, so, that, all that being said, I get, y'all know all the projects from my commissioners, and the one in Orange Grove. Time-wise, we're down to the wire. So, we're gonna need to, apply for an 30-day extension.
I would recommend it just to give us time, because I know we're gonna have a survey. We have certain surveys, but I know in other areas we don't, or they've expired, so we're gonna.
We can go out and do our surveys.
That's very helpful. We usually send
Faster.
a crew, our crews are booked out
We've
right
always
now
done it.
through probably mid-April this month. So we would be able to, we would have to get some crews out there, probably more than one. Usually, I mean, depends on how big the area is, we'll send somebody out. And then, I mean, anything is helpful. We usually send a letter. I think we just sent a letter, Judge, to your office. Signed it, it's already probably come back to GrantWorks. And we use that so that people, because the problem we have, and the reason why counties get involved in their precincts is because people don't tend to answer doors to strangers. So we always have marked cars, badges, but a lot of people don't like to open their doors. It's always helpful when either the sheriff's out there with us or somebody, or we put a note out like to everyone's water bill or just through your precinct or your website. Just kind of say that there's gonna be people knocking on doors. This is for grant purposes, and they're a little bit, they're kind of better with it. And when they see a familiar face, it's easier. We can we'll work that out. We'll see what's on our schedule. If we have enough crews to go out there, then we'll be okay. But it's always good to have a familiar face.
Okay. So, moving forward, we have, you all will definitely meet individually with commissioners. We'll submit 30-day extension.
Yes.
And, we'll submit the agenda for August 11th for Orange Grove. And,
If we would, Judge, also, if you could allow Roxy to establish the budgets inclusive of Orange Grove, because that's the one thing that's got me held up for each individual project. I need to know what much money we need.
I can break that down. I have the way I break it down, and I send it to you by precinct. Is that how you want it?
we're good with all that, right?
And
I
then
wanna make
by
sure
precinct and
we
order.
come on the 11th and we're all the same page.
The 11th, you can do one, include them.
Yeah, we're on the same page, right?
We can't do it right now.
One of us, no,
It was just a workshop.
yeah.
If they prefer to have commissioners court action on it, yeah. Do you need to take action on the allocation amounts to each? Y'all wanna have an
We-
item that way?
Yeah.
Yeah, we would like to have that as part of the discussion part of the action item. That way my commissioners in Orange Grove, everybody knows exactly where the transparency is there 100%, and we're not making.
Perhaps also have the names of these of the projects that we're looking at. I will believe
Yeah.
before, make sure that we have that one.
Yeah.
And let's keep this down.
The names of the projects, we can leave out because those can be adjusted.
Yeah, we
Because
don't
if
wanna
one
get-
doesn't cover, you don't want to get specific to it, yeah. True,
You can go see.
right, yeah, so we'll have the action item and we'll have the information for the discussion portion of
I
it.
have a clear understanding. Ahorita we're just throwing,
Well, we're closed on Friday, so it's gonna have to post Thursday.
Yeah,
So we can post up till 5.
So we'll, Wednesday noon at least.
I'll do Wednesday.
Mhm.
That'll be hopefully by tomorrow. But if not, I'll do it. And then just to let y'all know, when's the next court after that?
The next court after that is the last Friday of the month, yeah. Not 20th, 28th, right? Yeah,
Fourth Friday.
yes.
I do have an item are some items that need to come back to court. For this one, I think it's just a citizen participation plan, which we usually establish those, but I might put that on the 11th, that way we just get it out of the way.
So if we can get it out of the way on the 11th, it'd be great. If we can't, and we can't wait till the 28th, this can constitute a special meeting also, because we need to get that information done, so.
And we have to, if we're gonna apply for the extension, we do have some time, but it's just better to get some of the easier items out of the way and the court, and if I'm already coming on the 11th, I'll put that on.
Okay.
For the other grants that I'm working on with y'all, I'll probably do those on the 20th. So is that, do y'all have any other questions for me?
Are you leaving right away or not? I'd like to talk to you.
I'm gonna, I think Eddie and I were gonna meet and stuff, I'm gonna hang out here in Alice for a while.
Okay, I'll talk to you after the meeting.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, anything we discuss any longer? Anything good?
I'm fine.
I don't have anything. At some point, meet with the engineer one-on-one. That way we can have a good understanding.
Yeah, I want to make sure that we stay on point and on track and move 100 miles an hour between now and completion date.
I've got 3 to 4 pretty well figured out as far as what we're gonna do, just the money portion for that.
Yeah, I'd like to meet one-on-one at some point, that we can.
Well, I'm sure y'all gonna meet individually with them.
Yeah, well, it's, I just want to make sure that what projects we'll have to go with.
Eligibility and stuff like that,
Yeah,
I look real good at something, I'm gonna get solved.
because right now we're in the dark. We don't know. We have a plan, but we really don't have a plan, so.
Well, I'll be here today if you want to.
Yeah, well, yeah, I gotta go to a funeral, right? In fact, I'm already a little late, but, yes, for sure.
Yeah, it would be good to get together to establish those parameters and whatever the process may be, not to determine benefit area. So that my crews can go out and assess.
Okay, that being said, I think, unless anybody else has anything else, I think we're done with the agenda item number 7, correct?
Yep. I make a motion to adjourn.
I have a motion to adjourn. Can I get a second?
Second.
I got a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign.
Happy Easter, everybody.
Sure, yeah. I do have about 15, 20 minutes.